Excuse me.
Yeah.
I'd like to rap for you tonight.
Okay.
And give you something you can bob your head to.
I can dig it. I can dig it. Yeah, I can dig it.
Boom. We just went live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Gun Bag Dad podcast. I'm your host, the Gun Bag Dad, Tico, and I have my guest here with me, Raell Hill.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Hey, so Raell, Raell had contacted me, and I had told him I was going to try to do this podcast and talk about gun reviews and shooting and actually gun safety and different things like that. So today we were able to get together. I haven't seen Raell in, it's been quite a few months.
Yeah, it's been
I think the last time he came and got a 10 millimeter Glock, he was going out somewhere where there's some bears going to be, so we had to make sure he was safe out there.
No, I appreciate that.
Hey, no problem. So today we were able to go to the range. We were able to shoot a few different firearms, which you can see them right here on the table. Everything's been cleared and checked and all that stuff there for everybody who wants to be an asshole and act like we don't know what we're doing. But what we're going to do is basically explain our experiences with the guns. This was Raell's first time shooting some of these guns. This was my first time. Actually, I did shoot the PDP before, I do think. But basically, our feelings are like Raell was looking to actually get a couple of the guns that we were able to shoot today, which was pretty cool. And we can tell our experiences. So basically, we'll start with Big Heavy. This is my Smith & Wesson 500 Magnum. This was the first gun that we shot, I believe, right? We did that first. Raell had never shot Smith & Wesson 500 before, so it was a good experience. And I had told him that basically, due to the length of the barrel and the compensator on the end, it's not bad. It seems like a big horse, but when you get it taken care of and you get a hold of it with your hands, it's okay. So, Raell, what were your first thoughts in grabbing the gun, getting it loaded up, and then actually shooting it, and the results from that?
Oh man, first thoughts was damn. That's a good gun. But actually, with the rounds that you had in there, my man, it wasn't that bad. The guns doesn't feel as bad. It's not what I'd expected. You know, I've seen quite a few reviews. You know, people getting hit in the head. So you know when you first see it, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's a little intimidating, but actually, felt very good. Sights are good, and a lot more accurate than I thought it would be.
Yeah, we've got some actual video of Raell shooting the 500 that we'll show you guys. It'll probably pop up right after we talk about it right here once we get done with some editing. But yeah, the gun shoots actually pretty soft. I would liken it to a 44 Magnum. Maybe a 6.5-inch 44 Magnum, something like that.
Yeah.
Not like the snub nose. It's not
No.
Because you can have a snub nose 357 that's loaded hot, and it'll
hit you pretty good.
Yeah, it'll rock you.
It'll hit you pretty good. Yeah.
But this right here, for the fireball that it shoots, and for the, if you call it kick, I mean it's recoil, but once you feel it, it's different. It's hard to explain.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's a lot.
You have to shoot it.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's not
nice fireball.
Right.
It does have the fireball. Overall, yeah, it's not as bad as you would think. It's not what I thought it was. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, you know, you can load something a little hotter and, you know, get a little hotter experience, but for what it was, like I really was impressed, and, you know, I think the thing that surprised me was the accuracy.
Yeah.
It's pretty accurate. Once you you know, you put your hands on it, you point it down range, you kind of get the feel of where you want to go with it. It's pretty accurate, man. I'm pretty surprised.
Yeah.
Actually, man.
Yeah, you punched some holes on top of each other out there, so that was
I did.
That was pretty good there.
That was pretty good.
All right, so of course my experience with the 500 is the same as when I had first purchased it. I was a little intimidated by the first round, just looking at the size of the cartridges, but after that first initial shot, I was like, oh, okay, this is tameable. This isn't as bad as it's cracked up to be. I know the shorter barrel versions of it are monstrous. Even the 454 Casole in a shorter barrel, you're talking 3-4 inches. It's gonna rock.
Absolutely.
So, but I'm here to shoot the cartridge and having fun
Absolutely.
and enjoying it. And I think if you were to take the 500 to a campground or some type of shoot, or you know what I'm saying, with family and friends or something like that, that would be something that you can probably get a few of the females to shoot, and they can pretty much handle it, and most of the guys are going to have a good time, and they're going to want to shoot it again. Because I noticed that Raell shot the first one, and he was faster to come to the front to shoot the second one,
Absolutely.
and third and fourth.
Well, it's like, it's kind of like what you said. At first, it's kind of intimidating. And when you shoot that first shot, you don't know what to expect. And the anticipation of the expectation kind of had me a little like, okay. But after the second and third shot, like you said, put them on top of each other. Once I felt what it actually do, it's like, okay, this is manageable. You can have a good time with this, have a good laugh. As long as you, again, have the right loads, it could be fun, man. It can really be a fun thing to shoot.
You brought up something that I wanted to actually ask, because there's a lot of people who shoot these, even the 8 3/8 inch barrel version, and say, "Oh man, I shot it 4 or 5 times, and my wrist was just killing me." I mean, you shot this 3 or 4 times in a row within minutes.
Absolutely. And
now, I know we shot a few other weapons and firearms as well, but
right.
do you recall any type of wrist?
No, and as you know, I'm right hand dominant, and have had a motorcycle accident, so my right hand isn't what it used to be.
Right.
It is my dominant hand. It is my shooting hand, but I have no problems with my wrist. No, the recoil didn't. It didn't make me feel any type of way. Like you said, it was likened to like a 44. It wasn't as bad as I thought, but no, I had no discomfort or anything in the wrist at all. Everything was it was okay. Everything was good.
Now, the good news is we're going to tell you that we were shooting, I think they were 325 grains. They weren't the big 700s that everybody, that's most of the time where somebody's getting their wrist rocked on something with the barrel like this. They're shooting those 700 grain cartridges, which we'll get a few.
Yeah, I can imagine the 700 grain will be a little.
We'll shoot again and run a 700 through it, and we might have a different perspective.
Absolutely.
Because you're talking about another 400 grains of bullet, and it's a bunch of extra powder.
Might break my wrist.
Okay, so which one would you like to move on to? Because I know there was definitely a couple of weapons you've been eyeing in purchasing, and then there was a weapon that kind of my wife had actually brought to the range when she came to meet us, which is the Walther PDP-F. What do you?
Since you left off with the PDP-F, let's start with that.
Okay.
It is empty. Feels amazing in the hand. Very pointable, very shootable. Great magazine capacity. But I was shooting low left with it.
Right. I had the same experience.
Right. Mm-hmm. I was shooting low left with it, and I think the thing that got me the most is it had a little bit more recoil or muzzle flip than I expected. It really was snappy. Mm-hmm. It really was snappy. It feels amazing in the hand. Very pointable, very shootable. Very nice gun. Ergonomically, it's beautiful. But for me, it was a little snappy. Okay. And that's what I experienced with this particular firearm. So, great gun. Looks great. Feel great. Just a little snappy for me.
And I don't know if that's probably because it's the F edition, the female edition, I guess is what everybody would call it. But and we talked about it in the car on the ride home from the range about getting a full-size PDP and seeing how that – I actually mentioned the steel frame version.
Absolutely.
And seeing how that differs. But it was pretty snappy. I did shoot low left the same as Raell did with it. So, and we noticed that the sights were off from the factory, just a hair to the right. So we're not going to say that we missed anything because of it.
No, absolutely not. I don't think we missed.
We're still on target. It's just not where we want it to be on target.
Absolutely,
which is definitely what you want out of it. So, ergonomically, I did feel like it felt good as far as the grip. I think the full size PDP shouldn't be too much of a difference, because I think it's just the trigger, the length of pull from the trigger to the back of the deal for the F.
It does break kind of far back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does break kind of far back. I don't know what that's about, but for me, you know, it does. It does. Man, it feels amazing.
Yeah.
It feels amazing though. Beautiful gun.
All right. Well, that's good. The Walther PDP-F. If you had to give it a grade 1 to 10, as far as let's do it like this. As far as purchasability, meaning, and I say that kind of in a meaning saying, hey, look, if you were to shoot that, would that be something that you would want to go out and have in your collection? And then as far as usage wise, kind of just wrap it all into one. You know, let's say purchasability, let's say use and how it felt as a gun, and let's say potentially seeing yourself using it as a nightstand, a carry, or a just a fun range gun
Right.
category.
Well,
let's say 1 to 10.
1 to 10. I would say about a 7.
7.
And let me explain why. Because I do think with, it was my first day with it. I do think that with, the sights being a little straightened and a little bit of practice, I think I could be proficient with it. Would it be my first choice? No. But I think I can be proficient with it. And I think it's a great firearm. I'm always a person that say, you put your hands on it before you purchase it, you shoot it, see how you like it. The gun has to like you as much as you like the gun. It has to fit your person. So, I would give it a 7 because it's an amazing gun. Walther is an amazing company. It's going to be dependable. But for me, a 7.
7. Okay.
Actually, the same thing.
I would probably say in that same range, 7. I could give it a 7.5 maybe. I'll stick with 7 because we talked about it on the way back from the range and about how chunky the slide feels on top of it.
Right.
It
Absolutely.
feels like it's a lot of just for you guys out there that
Absolutely.
like to be assholes again, but it just feels like it's a lot of gun above my hand.
It does. It is top hand.
And I don't feel like this is the Smith & Wesson Metal M&P 2.0. Of course, those of you know,
Right.
but they appear to be pretty close in size, but this feels like it's
a bigger gun.
a bigger slide set. It's wider, definitely, for sure.
Right.
But and the serrations are a little too deep for me. I think they went a little too far with that.
I kind of like the serrations. I kind of like the serrations. For me, just easy to grab. I like the serrations.
Okay.
For me, I can. That's one thing about it. Ergonomically and design wise, it's a beautiful gun. I love the ergonomics, but shooting it for the first time today, it just kind of, like I said, with some practice, some training, shooting it more, I think I can, to definitely be something that I would add to my collection.
Yeah, our low left, for anybody who's wondering, is let's say point of aim. First few shots are probably an inch or two left and down, right on the angle,
Right.
and then you're kind of feeling the gun or fighting yourself to the center,
Right.
kind of offsetting it, and you do hit consistent.
Well, it was like I was
stack
telling
them on top of each other, so-
Right, like I was telling you,
Yeah.
when I was aiming down range, for me, I had to come, a little bit more to the right in order to hit center.
Right.
Other than that, I would get then adding, going straight down, looking straight down the sights, I would get low left.
And then we'll adjust those. It's got adjustable rear sights and stuff, so we'll adjust them. And then on the next review, we'll definitely make that change and see how that fares. And then those are the first shots. But everybody says what is it? You can find anybody anywhere that'll tell you got to put 1,000 rounds in something before you know what's going on.
Absolutely.
Or whatever. I just think, hey, after 500, if it's shooting the same up to 1,000,
It's pretty much gonna do what it is.
exactly.